Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series stars. I hope you're doing well and ready, because today's update has shaken even the most seasoned followers of the industry. On this Sunday, October 19th, 2025, we're bringing you a development that has the entire fandom talking at once. Two names you know, love, and follow closely are at the center of it all, Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel. Yes, you heard that right. Their names are everywhere. And what we've learned has the kind of weight that makes you pause, reread, and ask if this is really happening. If you're devoted to this pair or simply enjoy staying ahead of the biggest twists in entertainment, settle in, because we're going to unpack everything we know so far, step by step, with the care this moment deserves. And before we dive deep, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe to Turkish series stars. It's free. And it means you'll never miss an update from us as this story continues to unfold. Now, let's get to it, because the headline speaks for itself. Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel's shocking news has stunned everyone, fans, journalists, colleagues, and, judging by what we're hearing from people close to them, perhaps even the pair themselves on some level. Life has a way of tossing curveballs when we least expect it, and this is one of those moments that redraws the map. For those who may have discovered them recently, Barış and Yağmur have built a presence that goes beyond any single series or project. She has cultivated an image of quiet resolve and luminous warmth, the kind of presence that lights up a scene without trying, while he's earned a reputation for grounded charm and unforced intensity. Together, they've become a touchstone for viewers who followed their work, dissected every frame of their appearances, and connected deeply with the glimpses of their off-camera lives they chose to share. And it's precisely within that personal public intersection that today's storm was born. First, a crucial note: details are still evolving. The shape of the story is becoming clearer by the hour, but as with all moments of consequence, each new piece encourages fresh interpretation. What we can say is that the core of this news is serious and transformative. This is not idle speculation, not a rumor drifting across a timeline only to fade. We are looking at something that signals a before and after, a decision, a revelation, or a redirection with real consequences for their lives and, inevitably, their careers. Official statements? We're watching for them. The absence of a public declaration, combined with strong and consistent indications from credible sources, suggests we're dealing with something very real. Outlets are scrambling to confirm specifics, making calls, comparing notes. We, as always, are approaching it carefully, contextualizing what's known, acknowledging what remains unclear, and focusing on how this moment might reshape the way people see Barış and Yağmur, both as artists and as individuals. So what, exactly, is at stake? Without naming third parties or attaching identities that are not fully confirmed, here's what the nature of the impact appears to be: a turning point. It could be a personal milestone that recalibrates everything around it. It could be a professional decision with ripple effects. It could be a blend of both, the kind of overlap that happens when public lives meet private truths. We are looking at possibilities that range from a major announcement about their relationship status to a bold new joint venture, from a pause that no one expected to a reinvention that only makes sense in hindsight. As you'd anticipate, social media has burst into 1,000 theories. Their names trended globally within hours. Timelines filled with joy, concern, confusion, and steadfast support. Some fans are exhilarated, some anxious, some respectfully waiting for clarity. There are those whose hearts are in their throats because they have invested years following every photo, every interview, every small interaction that seemed to speak volumes. The emotions are real because the connection is real. Let's imagine, for a moment, what could have led here. Think back to the last months, interviews where they seemed thoughtful, careful with words, moments on set where the chemistry was unmistakable, little signals on their feeds, the photo choices, the captions that felt more introspective than usual, those long pauses before posting that fans noticed even if they couldn't explain why. People have been asking, quietly at first, more insistently later, what changed? Why now? What truth is being prepared, guarded, or about to be shared? Early reports point to a change with weight, not a passing hiccup or a rumor tossed into the wind, but something deliberate, or at least something that carries the gravity of a decision no one makes lightly. Whether this is an inflection point in their personal path or a strategic recalibration of their careers, it is neither impulsive nor random. It bears the marks of reflection, of nights spent thinking about what comes next, of conversations that feel like standing at a crossroads. It's important to remember that even when we see so much, we don't see everything. The lives of public figures have layers, and decisions that look simple from the outside are often complicated by timing, obligations, and the human heart. To interpret this moment, we have to hold space for all of that. We can analyze, but we must avoid reducing. Consider the possible interpretations. Perhaps this is a personal milestone, an engagement formalized away from paparazzi flashes, or the joyful expectation of expanding their family, or, on the opposite end of the emotional spectrum, a quiet decision to take space, to redefine what their bond looks like under the weight of schedules and expectations. Or perhaps it is deeply professional, a joint project that merges their creative energies in a way we've never seen, a bold pivot into a new genre, a sabbatical to breathe, reflect, and come back differently, a strategic move that will reframe how they are perceived in the industry. What is undeniable is the scale of the reaction. Their supporters aren't just viewers. They're people who have woven Barış and Yağmur into their routines, who look to them for comfort after long days, who see their own hopes reflected in the characters these two bring to life. When news like this lands, it reverberates because the connection runs deep. The public conversation tells us, once again, just how much Barış and Yağmur matter in the wider culture. I want to know how you felt when you first heard. Did your heart race? Did you smile without realizing it? Did you sit with a sudden heaviness you couldn't name? Hold that thought and share it below when we wrap up. The comment section is where this community comes alive, and tonight, especially, your voices are part of the story. As we go forward, perspective matters. Yes, the speculation is everywhere, but official statements from their teams, and, ideally, from Barış and Yağmur themselves, will define the true edges of this moment. The words they choose, the timing, the way they reflect on the road behind and the road ahead, will shape how this day is remembered. Until then, the clues matter, the interviews where their eyes said more than their answers, the projects quietly put on hold, the friends who posted supportive messages without context, the way their public appearances shifted from glittering to measured. You know how it goes in this world. Real life writes better plot twists than any script. We've all seen last-minute reversals, impossible reunions, unexpected endings that reveal themselves as beginnings. And what's happening right now with Barış and Yağmur fits that pattern of unpredictability. The honest, human, unscripted kind. What can we expect next? Likely, more clarity in the coming days. A statement, perhaps. Maybe an interview where silence finally gives way to words. It might be a joint announcement that sets the record straight. It might be separate reflections that, together, complete the picture. How Yağmur addresses this moment, how she frames it for those who look to her for steadiness and sincerity, will be watched closely. How Barış stands beside her, speaks for himself, and honors their shared history will matter just as much. From Turkish series stars, you know our approach. We're here to track the facts, but also to acknowledge the feelings. We don't rush to sensationalize. We take the time to map the context, to listen for what's said and what's carefully left between the lines. Because behind headlines are people, and these two, specifically, have given us performances and memories that deserve respect. Let's talk about why this day will stick in our minds. October 19, 2025, will be remembered as the day the conversation around Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel shifted. However the details land, the stir is undeniable. You can feel it in every timeline refresh, in the messages friends send each other late at night, in the way industry insiders are suddenly cautious with their words. This is not a footnote, it's a chapter marker. Think back to when their paths first crossed in the public eye, the early table reads, the modest premieres that felt bigger because of how they looked at one another, the fan events where their ease with each other felt like a promise. Over time, that promise took a shape that people couldn't stop watching. Maybe that's why this moment feels so charged, because it touches the thing people believed they could count on, the thing they rooted for even when life outside the screen got messy. And yet, change does not erase what came before. If this is a personal milestone, it builds on a foundation we've all seen. If it's a professional reinvention, it's one they earned, by taking risks, by insisting on quality, by knowing when to be bold and when to be quiet. It's worth remembering that there's courage in choosing the right next step, even when it's misunderstood at first. Some will ask whether this is the start of a new era for them as a duo, perhaps a production company that bears both their fingerprints, a creative house where stories they believe in can be grown without compromise. Others will wonder if this is a season of pausing, of stepping back from being constantly visible to protect something more important. Both are plausible. Both carry their own kind of bravery. And both would explain the careful silence we're seeing while the right words are chosen. In the meantime, support matters. The kind that doesn't demand details, that doesn't set conditions on affection. Fans are already sending love, old clips resurfacing, favorite scenes reshared, quotes from interviews where they talked about resilience and hope. It's a reminder that even as we wait for facts, we can choose the tone of the conversation. We can be kind. A quick note on industry ripples: if this is indeed linked to new creative directions, expect schedules to shift and announcements to be retimed. Joint endorsements might be revisited, scripts could be revised to make room for a different kind of balance. Colleagues will rally, as they do. You'll see producers invoking patience and talking about quality over speed. You might even notice that certain journalists who usually move fast are treading carefully. That tells its own story. To those who feel unsettled right now, you're not alone. Big news has a way of echoing in the spaces of our own lives. Maybe you see your own crossroads mirrored here, the tug-of-war between what is expected and what is needed. If so, take heart in this: the people at the center of today's story have shown again and again that they lead with thoughtfulness. Whatever today means, it will unfold with intention. As updates arrive, we'll be here, translating the noise into clarity, honoring the human side of a public moment. And wherever this leads, to a celebration, to a graceful transition, to a chapter you didn't see coming, let this community be a place where nuance lives. So yes, mark the date. October 19th, 2025, will go down as the day Barış, Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel shifted the conversation, leaving millions buzzing, worrying, hoping, and, above all, waiting for them to speak in their own voices. The full scope of this news is still unfolding. But the first wave has hit, and its sway is unmistakable. Before we wrap, tell me this: what was your instinctive reaction when you saw their names trending today? Did you race to your favorite clip of them to feel grounded? Did you text a friend and say, "What do you think this means?" Share your thoughts below. Your take makes this space richer. And if you found this breakdown helpful, give it a like. It genuinely helps us keep bringing you careful, compassionate coverage. Share this video with the friend who never misses an episode, with the family member who can name every character they've played, with the group chat that lives for premiere nights. And if you haven't joined us yet, subscribe to Turkish Series Stars and ring that bell so you never miss a moment as this story continues to develop. We'll be watching, listening, and bringing you what matters, when it matters, with the respect Barış and Yağmur have earned. We'll see you in the next video with more news and more surprises. Until then, take good care, keep your hearts open, and remember, sometimes the plots we love leap off the screen and remind us that the most compelling stories are the ones real people are brave enough to live.